What up, everybody? It's Hank from Bikes, Bumps, and Banter, and thanks for stopping by. Before we begin, I am going to apologize because my bike is dirty. Oh, we finally got some nice enough weather that I get out and put a few miles on the bike. But then something special arrived in the mail, and I got excited, so I want to show you guys. So I'm going to... Ooh. Sorry about that, everybody. This is the box that came in the mail, but it is empty. I already took all the parts and pieces out before I threw it. I just thought that'd be a little funny. What did come in the box, though, was an Arlen Ness Stage 2 oval air cleaner. I did put a K&N air cleaner in the bike inside the stock housing. I don't believe that it's breathing as good as it could. I've seen a lot of guys out there, they're putting all kinds of different stuff on there. The wedge is a good one, like from Harley, but I wasn't a fan of the shape. You know, I didn't like the other shape of like the cone style filters or the elbow filters. And there are a few other good oval shaped filters out there. The reason why I picked the Arlen Ness, though, is I'm a huge fan of the old Screaming Eagle ventilator, which is on the Sport Glide. And the Arlen Ness Stage 2 oval was the closest that I come to with it, where it actually has the filter on the outside and the filter on the inside. Instead of boring you with the talking, I'll give you a quick show of the parts and pieces, and then I'll get to installing. First up, I'll show you the planned upgrade table for 2026. So that middle line on the table divides between the Sport Glide on the left and my Street Glide on the right. The only thing you're going to see on my Street Glide is going to be my new air cleaner, an easy shift, which I'm probably not going to put on because I bought a Chinesium one. We'll talk about that one later. And I've got myself an oil cover for the bottom, the little belly pan. And for the Sport Glide, you can see we got a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll cover all those later when I do Sport Glide videos later on. So for the Arlen Ness stuff, you'll see we've got the backing plate, we've got the gaskets, we've got the actual backing plate for the filter, we've got the round filter housing itself. And like I was saying before, it's got the filter on the middle as well, which I like. I wasn't a big fan of the glass filter, or the glass on the outside of the oval filters. This shouldn't take too long. The instructions are out. I've actually read the instructions. Shh, don't tell anybody. I'm just going to pull out some tools and we'll get to it. Now that we got our tools laid out and our new parts and pieces laid out in front of the bike, we're going to go and start disassembling the stock air filter. We're going to take our 5/16 Allen key and we're going to take the cover and the bolt out. So when you pull this bolt out, you notice it's really long because this bolt actually goes through and holds the filter in place as well. The filter itself, it just wiggle it and get it out. It's just pressure fitted. It's the actual long stem bolt holds it in place. You gotta use both hands to get in and on there. So this is the actual K&N filter replacement for the stock paper filter. It is an oiled filter. It does flow better than the paper filter, but it's not going to flow as well as the new oval filter I'm putting it on. As you can see, the surface, this is where the air comes in right here. It goes in through here, then it comes through the filter, and then it gets pulled into the throttle body through here. So this big housing is basically for show. There actually is a breather tube that comes up off the transmission from back here, comes up over the top of the engine and into the back of the filter housing. We'll disconnect that when we get along and it connects in the new one. What that actually does is that all the overpressure from the transmission, the oil gets blown up and inside the housing. And if you reach inside the housing, you're going to see everything is covered slightly in oil. If your transmission is overfilled, and I've seen it before, there will be puddles of oil in the bottom, and I mean lots. So next up is there's a pair of 9/16 bolts in here, and then there's 3 T27 head screws right in there. First, we'll take off the 2 9/16, and these are on tight, man. Holy! Oh yeah, nice white thread locker. Now you got to be careful with these T27s that you don't freaking strip them. With the Torx, the ones that are on my windshield, I actually stripped one, and later on I've got to cut it out. So that third one is actually up here in the top, and I had to go get a different tool so I could reach in to get it. I'm just hoping I don't need that much pressure to get it off, and I am going to have to get a different tool. Let me be right back. So I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen this before. Sometimes you get tools like a screwdriver handle, and the shape of the head is very conducive to using a wrench on the screwdriver to increase the leverage. And that's what I'm going to go here and do now, because I had nothing that would reach in and grab that T27. So on the head, and there we go. Now that we've got that last screw out, there's the breather tube I was talking about that runs down to the transmission. Just got to make sure we get that off of here. It is on there pretty good. So I actually had to go get something and pry just around the edges to loosen that off. That breather hose goes down this deep, like from here all the way to here, and it has a ridge right there. So it takes a little effort to get it off. I don't think I damaged anything. I should be good. So now that the old air box is off, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, because you can see there is oil residue on parts and pieces. I want to get that cleaned up and make sure it's nice before I put the new one on. So we start by Tefloning the elbow, and then we're going to put the elbow into the backing plate. There's only one spot on the top for this to go in. And remember, this is going to be the front, so when we're done, the elbow faces backwards toward the engine. Well, that looks about as tight as I'm going to get that. It's not flush, and I don't want to force it one more. Well, I might go one more turn, but I'll see how I feel in a second as I start turning it with a wrench. It is forcing all that Teflon up. No, I'm thinking. I'm thinking right about there. Now, I know when this is on that hose is going to hold it so it's not going to turn. So I don't believe there's any chance this is going to back out. We should be good like that. So next up is threading the three smaller bolts all the way through the three holes until they go all the way through and just rotate freely. I've already started the top one. We're just going to run them all the way through. And once they're all the way through, they just kind of float. All right, so we got the three bolts in, and they go all the way, and you can see they've actually got loose play because of the way they're built on their shoulder. Next up, you want to take the spacer, and the spacer has these little divots which line up with the divots on the breather. Make sure they drop in. And next up, you want to put your gasket in. Now, if you look at your gasket, there's a cutout on the gasket, and it has to match in this gasket here. The Arlen Ness says it's the 5 o'clock position. Well, you got to put it on and drop it in. But if you notice, if I put the gasket in upside down, this notch doesn't line up with the notch in the housing. So you got to make sure you flip it over and it's lined up and it's in place. Next up, I'm going to put on blue Loctite on these three bolts, and then I'm going to put them in. But because of the way they're designed, you have to go kind of around in a bit of a pattern to get them to tighten up right. So I've got the blue Loctite on my three bolts. I'm now going to line it up. I'm going to get the breather tube put on and then put these in. I'm not going to put them in fully tight. I'm going to wait until I get the other bolts Loctited in, and then I'll torque them all down together. Just got to be careful that when you're putting this on that you don't lose that gasket. I'm going to try my best to get it in place. See if I can get that hose. I moved the hose. And this is the fun part, boys and girls, trying to get everything to line up while you get certain silly things on like this hose. All right, that hose is now on. I may have to no, it's on all the way. Good. And get those bolts lined up. Attempt to get those bolts lined up. There we go. We got two of them lined up. And just going to get them started, go around, make sure I get everything in place, and that I'm not pinching anything. That was lined up. Make sure you don't cross thread these things. These are custom bolts from Arlen Ness, so if you screw them up, you'll have to get a hold of Arlen Ness and get new ones. I don't know how long that would take for them to show up. I'm just going to go around. I'm not going to fully tighten these down all the way. I know when I tighten them in, they are going to push the housings together and clamp down on the gasket. Yeah, so I bottomed out, and I'm going to just check to make sure my hose is on. That hose is on. It's not going anywhere. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to get the other bolts ready to go, and we'll keep going. Sorry for the camera position change. I accidentally knocked it over. So next up is blue Loctite onto the two larger bolts, which is going to hold the whole assembly onto the heads. There we go. I got blue Loctite on this one. Gonna just drop it in, get it started. I'll get blue Loctite on the other one, and then I'll torque the two of them down. I'll pull up my torque wrench later and I'll torque all these down. You guys don't need to see me do that. Just want to make sure these are in snug. Yeah, it's good and snug. All right, so next up is taking your backing plate, and there's these 6 smaller screws, and they're going to go through these holes, and you want to screw them all the way in until they're loose. I mean, that's fairly simple to get it through, and once it's all the way through, then they just kind of flop around like the other ones did. So there's some free play. I'm going to put the other ones in, and then I'll be right back. So next up with the backing plate, you can notice it actually has the holes here, which is going to cover these two here. We're going to take our gasket, put our gasket on, and then bolt it in. We're going to actually use some blue Loctite on all these little threads. And again, I'm just going to pause so you guys don't have to watch me putting blue Loctite on 6 little bolts. So I applied some blue Loctite, and I'm going to torque these down in. There's no need watching me do this part. So what I did notice is the way these bolts are designed, it's best if you go couple thread, couple thread, couple thread, couple thread. If you bolt one of them, thread one of them in all the way, the rest aren't going to line up just right, and it's a real pain in the butt. So I'm just doing them a couple at a time. Coming up to the final steps is to take the filter, put the filter in place, push it in. It kind of pressure fits nicely. Then we're going to do the cover. So set the cover into place. Yeah, the cover's going to sit just about right. Oops, I just pulled everything off. So the cover's going to sit right. We got the spacers. They got shims for the spacers and the long bolts. So we're going to get these things all ready to go. I'm going to turn this off and put the cover on, and then I'll come back. So when I put the other cover on, it came with the spacers and shims. And when you read the instructions, it says that if it doesn't fit tight, to take it off and pull the shims off. When I put them on, it just didn't seem tight enough to me, so I pulled it off and I took the shims out, and then I put all the bolts back in. And it says to do them in a crisscross pattern when you're tightening and torquing, and that's what I've done. So now it's on. The last thing to do is a test after assembly, and I'm going to actually pull the camera further back for you guys to see that, and I'll start it. So that's the install of the Arlen Ness Stage 2 oval. And I like the way it looks. I'm going to move out of the way here for a second so you guys can see it fully installed. Get a good look at it. Then I'm going to start it for you guys to see if you can hear it. I've already started it once, the old test after assembly, and I can actually hear it sucking air. Whether it's just the placebo effect, I'm not sure. But without further ado, I'll kick out the stool, I'll stand aside, and then we'll start it. So there she is installed on the bike. Looks pretty good. And if I'm going to start it now, oh, you can't see me. There I am now. And of course, because we're in neutral, it won't allow us to rev. So the last thing I plan on doing now is I'm going to roll it outside. I'm going to gear up and I'm going to take it for a little boot around town just because it's not bad out right now. I spent the rest of the day, or most of the day, doing the install for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed the install. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. And if you feel so inclined, please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content between wrenching and riding. And if you know anybody that could benefit from this video, please feel free to share it. As I always say, keep your rubber side down, keep your shiny side up, and stay frosty, my friends. Oh, and I'll catch you later.